Good evening. My name is Keith Romano. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the Inland Wetlands meeting for the town of Monroe. It is January 26th, 2022, and the time is 7:07 p.m. Thank you. First order is the Pledge of Allegiance. And pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the
republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all.
All right, I'll take a roll call of the members of the commission and staff present during tonight's hybrid meeting. Please answer here are present, starting with myself, Keith Romano, Lois Spence, who's our vice chair and secretary. Is she online?
She was here. Lois, are you here?
Nate?
I am here, but I was under the impression that I had been fired. I have not heard contrary after the meeting last week.
Is your term up?
I'm not really sure.
Well, Lois, let's finish the opening of the meeting, and if we have to discuss that matter, we'll discuss it. As far as I know, you're still here.
Okay.
With us. Lois Spence, who's our vice chair and secretary, who already said, Jim Stewart, who's our treasurer and also a licensed engineer and surveyor in the state of Connecticut.
Here.
Clark Ingris, who's not with us. Ross Mastoracco.
I don't see Ross.
Here, I just saw him.
Oh, you did?
Ross?
Okay, so not yet. He's
I
not.
just sworn I saw
Here
it.
without audio.
Oh, maybe he's trying to log back in. So
right,
we'll just have to
We'll
call him as late. Yeah.
say technically difficulty right now. Okay, Commissioner BJ Hall.
I am here.
Okay. We have Ron Baya. Is it Baya?
Bye.
Baya, who is soon to be hopefully voted in as our new wetlands agent, who's a planning and zoning and inland wetlands agent. Okay. Donna Szynski, who's our office manager.
Present.
Sarah Stroud, our recording secretary.
Present.
I didn't give you the opportunity, I think, to say present, that you were here.
Yeah, I did.
No, Ron, did you?
I'm here. Yep. Present. Yep.
I just
All
want
right, it's okay.
Before we start, I'll read our mission statement, how the meeting will proceed. Inland Wetlands Mission Statement. The objective and purpose of the Inland Wetlands Commission is to provide for the overall protection and preservation of the inland wetlands and water courses within the town of Monroe. Meeting procedure. Please note that this meeting is being conducted utilizing electronic equipment in compliance with State Law Public Act 21-1. As such, this meeting is being recorded and will be available to the public in compliance with state law. If you are attending remotely, please remember to mute your microphone unless speaking. Anyone participating remotely should state their name and title, if applicable, on the outset of each occasion that such a person is speaking. All votes taken during which any member of this body are participating remotely shall be taken by roll call unless the vote is unanimous. The chat features will not be utilized nor considered during this meeting. In the normal course of our meetings, we will hear public hearings and other applications. The protocol for public hearings is to have an applicant make a presentation to the commission after which the commission will be asking the applicant questions. I'd like to ask the applicants to keep presentations as concise as possible. The commission will then review town staff and other independent comments. The meeting will then be open for public comment. I will ask that all comments be made to the chair or commission. After any and all comments pro and opposition of a general nature are made, the applicant will be given an opportunity to respond. Please keep comments or questions direct, and a time limit of 3 minutes may be imposed. It is not necessary that the applicant respond, but generally in their best interest to do so. There will be no further opportunity for new questions unless new materials entered in as evidence or testimony during their response. Please keep all comments pro and con specific to inland wetlands related matters. Other applications that do not involve a public hearing will follow a similar format with the exception that there will be no public comments allowed. The meeting follows our published agenda unless otherwise amended. Are there any changes to the agenda?
No.
Okay, I just realized.
Did you leave Eric off of the attendance?
Yeah,
I'm here. I'm still here.
I know you're still here, but I have to call it.
Okay.
Also, joining us tonight is our new commissioner. It's Eric.
Yes.
Last name.
Lindstrom.
Lindstrom, Eric Lindstrom. We'll get this readjusted so I don't remember next time. I forget, I mean, it's like, I was halfway through the thing. I'm like, wait a second. Okay. All right, so now we're on to vote to accept Ron Baya as our inland wetlands agent. Someone like to make a motion to accept Ron as our new inland wetlands agent?
I'll make a motion to accept Ron Baya as our new wetlands agent.
We have a motion to accept Ron as our new wetlands agent. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Stewart. Are we gonna have enough with 4?
Yes,
Are we?
yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously by the 4 members in attendance right now. Oh, wait, Commissioner Spence.
Great.
We had
Commissioner Spence, we need.
I just don't see her face, so that's why I don't. Those, are you voting on this? Abstaining? Opposing? Commissioner
Lois, are you
Spence?
there?
I am. I'm so sorry. I'm having trouble with my mute function. I'm not used to this. Yes, I am here, and yes, I will vote yes.
Okay,
Those,
thank
but
you.
then Ross said he's on the phone?
Ross said, yeah, he sent everybody an email saying yes, he's on by phone.
He's on my phone, but we still can't hear him.
Yeah,
Ross, are you there?
He might be having trouble trying to figure out how to mute too, or unmute.
I don't see him at all now.
No, he was there
Oh,
before.
there he is. He's muted.
We have this is a different
this is Zoom.
Zoom now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's
I'm
why.
here.
It's here. Okay.
There you are. We do hear
Hey.
you.
We have Commissioner Ross Masaraco joining us now. Officially, I guess.
I got it. 7:14.
Okay. All right, so Ross, how do you vote for our new wetlands agent? In favor?
I'm in favor, yes.
Okay, so it's unanimously 6 commissioners, all present.
5, because Eric can't vote for him. Oh, right, Eric can. This is Ron's vote. Sorry. Got it.
You voted, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
It's all right. We're all trying to adjust to the
I
new year and new.
know, it's all stuff.
Okay, so now the general, okay, so let's do general.
Yes.
I gotta turn this off. General public participation. Is there anybody in the audience tonight who has anything to address the commission about wetlands related matters on something that's not currently in front of us or to be in front of us in the near future? No one? Okay, moving on. Before we move
Hello.
on.
Chairman, this is Pete Metropolis. Sorry, my mute button was a little slow. I've got a question if you're still having public participation.
We didn't really move on, no, go ahead.
I can go?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm just wondering what the latest was. You guys, have you hired an LEP for 64 Cambridge? They passed it and I think they threw it back at you guys. Just wondering if any testing or anybody's been out there since you guys voted to pass that remediation permit.
Actually, I do have an update from Rick Schultz.
Okay, but is this actually the proper forum for that question? Because,
I mean, he can be, there's,
I mean, I guess.
it hasn't been
Get out of it,
determined yet.
out of
They're
here.
vetting. They're vetting.
Okay, all right, so we'll let Donna answer your question. Or give us, or share the information and hopefully it answers your question.
Right, Planner Schultz is currently vetting the professionals and will be giving the commission their choices, I think, at the next meeting.
Okay.
So I don't know that it's been chosen as of yet. I know it hasn't been
We
chosen.
haven't chosen, we
Right.
haven't been even presented. So yeah, well, that's all the information any of us have at this moment. Is that it?
That's it for me. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now so a couple things, I just by happenstance, learned last night that has an effect on us. One of them being that there's new state regulation. Ron, do you remember about the application fees or something? I wasn't really there to absorb that.
I didn't. I was more in tune to the accessory dwellings and the 19-year
I left you
extension.
something.
Okay, so, right, there's
Oh,
something, there's two things. One of them, so there's a bunch of new laws that came down from the state, and Attorney Vin Marino was there addressing planning and zoning. One of them has to do with, as far as it goes to us, is something about, where is it? Fees. I'll just read this off so we hear it. It's number 4 in this list. It says to consider an act on scheduling a public hearing to adopt the regulation requiring an applicant to pay the cost of reasonable fees associated with any necessary review by consultants with expertise in land use of any particular technical aspect of such application in accordance with Connecticut General Stat Section 8-1C as amended by PA 21-29 and applies to zoning wetlands. That's just something that, I don't know how we're going to integrate that on a meeting basis, but it's something that applies to us. So I just figured I might as well share it. The other one being this time extension. Okay, these new rules on time extension.
Okay.
Have you been brought up to speed on it?
I have not.
Ron, do you remember?
I asked Rick.
I have it. So if
But I like you thought that 19 years was 19 years. But I think it's from,
there's 2 conditions to it.
yeah, there's a condition for either 2019 or 2020 has to be the start date,
So I will,
a more recent application.
so there's also, so what it is that you have a bunch of different categories. So residential site plans for projects with 400 or more units, business site plans for projects with at least 400,000 square feet, other site plans, subdivision plans for 400 or more dwellings, other subdivisions, wetlands permits associated with other approval, and then other wetlands. So basically what this says in a nutshell is that, is this example, wetlands. So extension up to 10 years from approval. And then up to 19 years from approval. I don't know, wait, now I'm confused. So basically, some site, if it's a plan that is approved as of the first of this year or last year, there's 15, it's automatically 15 years they get,
Oh,
right? Or 14 years.
Yeah, it's a long.
But if it expired, it's also a 19-year look back. 14. Oh my God, there could have been an easier way to explain this. So basically, put it this way, the one that we're looking at, Cottage Street,
yeah.
I believe it's automatically granted. We have nothing to do with it. It's as if their approval was automatically extended without our intervention. The way Rick Schultz explained it to me last night.
Right.
Up to,
That doesn't make sense.
the 10 years from,
It was originally approved, what, in 2006 or 2007? Or you're talking about things that were approved.
when did it already expire? When did it expire?
It didn't.
Why are we giving an extension?
It hasn't expired yet, but they're supposed to ask for the extension before it expires.
When does it expire?
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah. Who's speaking?
Chris.
For the record, Mr. Chairman, my name's Chris Smith. I'm an attorney with Alter and Pearson, and I do represent Cottage Street LLC. And with me this evening is Chris Steiner. I know this is item number 10 on
Right.
your agenda, but I can certainly address.
Why don't we do that? Let us try to work through how we're doing it, and then we'll circle back around. We'll get through this pretty quickly, I think, but we may I just want to stay in order because we have another thing.
All right.
All right, so there's a little bit of confusion. It's spelled out here, but I don't have a good way of interpreting it there.
Okay.
So we'll wait until we get, because they're here, so it'd probably be easier just to wait. But basically, they've made a bunch of big extensions automatic.
Okay.
So in the future, when we have like our algorithm, so to speak, we plug it in, it's going to show us that this date is automatically just advanced.
Okay.
They don't have to come to us. They don't have to ask for extension until the new one comes. So anybody that needs to get even if, like, for instance, the Cambridge Drive,
Okay.
right, had a 5-year or a 10-year, it's automatically extended by this law to whatever the new things are. It supersedes, I believe, every town, every individual town, if there's a difference.
Get clarification during.
Yeah, you got to get a little bit more, but I'm just.
The people that know those things.
The next thing I wanted to bring up before we continue on to regulated activities is, I think it's been a couple of years since we've had any type of voting for any of the positions on the commission. Chairman, vice chairman, secretary, and treasurer. So I want to open that up to discussion, whether we do it now or you want to do it at the end of the meeting. If anybody wants to, resign a position,
I think that needs to be put on the agenda for like the next meeting.
we'll do it for the next meeting.
Yeah, that
So we
should,
can't do it tonight, but I want to introduce the idea,
okay.
right? So, well, just introducing the idea that we haven't had elections. I think so we had to pick
Right.
new chairman.
I think so.
So we could do it at the next meeting.
Yeah, I can put it on the
We'll
agenda.
put on the agenda for the next meeting, so we'll all have time to consider that. All right, so then we don't have to discuss that any further. All right, so on to regulated activities. 5, application hearing determination, determine type of hearing, IWC 2022-01, 67 Enterprise Drive, construction of new warehouse in addition to existing building, stormwater detention, and new driveway. Anybody had a chance to review that plan?
Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
Yes, I reviewed the plan. I would move that we treat it as a regular hearing.
Regular meeting? Okay, anybody else have so that's a motion? Or
Discussion.
anyone else want to discuss any other ideas for that? Is that Ross?
Can you still hear me?
Yes.
No questions.
Oh, okay. Anybody else have any thoughts of any other ideas for that application? Commissioners? No? Okay. But,
You're making a determination.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So we still have to vote on it, right?
So you need a motion.
Right, so,
Second.
oh, you like to turn that into I don't know if that was a suggestion or a
I
motion.
made it as a motion.
Oh, you did, I'm sorry. We have a motion from Commissioner Hall to move it to a regular meeting. Have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Stewart, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need a verbal from Commissioner Spence and Commissioner Masrocco. I mean, state your name because we didn't see you.
I'm sorry. Ross Mastroacco, aye.
Okay.
And Commissioner Spence?
Sorry, I'm once again having trouble finding the stupid mute button. Aye.
Okay, motion passed unanimously.
Okay.
Okay, moving along. Regular meeting, nothing, public
Oh,
hearing, nothing.
regular meeting, so now we can go on to this.
Oh, right.
Yes.
I forgot.
Working,
Like a whole new, all right, so are they here to present?
they should be, yes.
Yeah, this is Jason Edwards, J. Edwards Associates,
Right.
engineers, surveyors, 227 Stepney Road, Easton, Connecticut. I'm here to represent the 67 Enterprise Drive application. I'd like to share my screen if I could. So,
Certainly, hold on one moment. Hopefully this works.
Wait a minute. I'm confused.
Laughing
Can
at
I-
myself. Commissioner Spence, go ahead.
Yeah, were we allowed to determine it and hear it on the same night?
It has gone through its pending application. This application was submitted. So it had its legal notices done. So yes, it can be heard tonight.
Oh, all right, okay.
That's what was discussed at the previous meetings.
I guess I didn't understand the implications, that's all. Thank you.
I think this is, there we go. Okay, you are up.
still telling me that the host has disabled participant screen sharing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is new to me. Sorry, hold on.
Oh, wait, we had the update. I didn't realize.
Let's see. I'm. No, it's still you. I apologize. If anyone wants to let me know how I share his screen, I would love that.
As host, you have control over that. Should be the share screen button at the bottom. It should
Yeah.
say-
But it doesn't, says, there's share content or camera. BJ, if you can walk me through anything, I'd love it. Do I need to have a computer on here, BJ? No.
Donna, what you want to do is click the up arrow near the share screen button in your meeting control bar.
Yeah.
Okay. You hear me?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and then click advanced sharing options.
Doesn't give it an option.
And then all participants.
Browser. It doesn't, all it says is optimize full screen video sharing, and it won't let me turn it on. Oh, wait.
The little up arrow near the screen share. Of course, I don't have it because it's not my meeting.
Yeah, it's not letting me.
Are you the one, you're the head of the meeting? You're
I'm
running the
supposed to be, yes. It says desktop, iPhone, iPad, or camera. Use browser or use HDMI. So use, oh, for Pete's sake.
Yeah, you're supposed to get to advanced sharing options.
And the other screen is with this, or no?
No, I can say manage participants. More, let's see.
There you go.
Might be a little,
What's this on here?
wondering if he can just proceed. We all have this copy in front of us.
I can. I just
If
obviously
we
would
get
be
to the
easier
point, if we get to the point where we need to see it and you have to explain something,
I know, I'm so
you can work
sorry.
on it. You can still work on it. in the
Yeah,
meantime.
I will, sorry.
So Jason, why don't you go ahead and just start?
Okay.
And then hopefully we can follow along on our copies.
Okay, so it's existing industrial and warehouse building. It's 3.61 acres, zoned I2. It's a 23,000 square foot building. Originally was approved back in 2006, I believe. They then constructed the building somewhere between 2006 and 2010. That they came back in 2010 for an additional wetlands permit to complete some landscaping and parking improvements in the back. The site is served by public water and an on-site septic system. The septic is out in front on the southwest part of the property. Let me just pull up my screen so I can really see it here.
I think you have to share your screen. With your camera.
So what we're proposing to do is construct a 6,000 square foot new steel building, and then also a proposed addition off the south end of the existing building that's going to be, I believe, 3,300 square feet. Both of those structures are intended to be used just for storage. The existing facility is basically maxed out from a manufacturing standpoint, and they've got, about 5,000 to 7,000 square feet of that building that's being used for storage. They want to move the storage to the new buildings and then utilize the entire existing building for manufacturing. The existing drainage system, as it stands today, there is no stormwater detention on site. It was designed, I believe there was stormwater calculations included with the overall development that accounted for this development on this lot. So there was no on-site stormwater in the original design or construction. We are now proposing a system out in front of the new building, basically under the new parking lot, as well as part of a new paved area that's going to be in front of the building. That will, essentially have a net decrease in total runoff for the site. It meets the town's drainage standards. Scott Schatzline has reviewed. He had a few comments that's the town engineer reviewed. We did address those comments, but he instructed us not to resubmit plans until you guys made a determination on the wetlands, whether it was going to be a hearing or a regular meeting. So those have not been reviewed yet, but they are all addressed. They're relatively minor. The existing structure, as it was approved and built back in 2006, is about 25 feet from the wetlands. It's a small, relatively isolated section of wetlands on the south end. And the existing building is directly in front of it. Our new building is going to kind of wrap around behind it. As I said, the current building is about 24 feet from the wetlands. Our proposed building will be about 22 feet. We propose on the wetland side of the new building, there's going to be the grading is going to require a retaining wall there, which will be a pretty substantial buffer for any direct access to the wetlands from the parking area or the runoff or anything else up on the high side. We have no direct proposed disturbance to the wetlands. Everything's regulated area, but no direct impact to the wetlands. We did provide a sediment and erosion control plan, which is designed in accordance with the Connecticut Erosion Control Guidelines of 2002. We provided a wetlands planting plan as well as a overall landscape plan for the site. There's a proposed wetlands buffer on the low side of the retaining wall, which provides even an additional buffer to the retaining wall. We think that's a pretty good effort to try to protect the wetlands there. What else did we do? We also had a environmental impact assessment done by Stephen Danzer, PhD. And if you read through that, his findings do indicate that there will be no significant impact to the wetlands from this development. He's got a list about 10 items long that identifies why he thinks that. I think that's kind of the extent of what we're proposing. And just, to put some emphasis on why this is being done. As I said, the existing owner is really maxed out on this space. If they can't, find a way to increase their storage on this site, they're likely going to be moving to, either a different part of Monroe or more likely out of Monroe. We had two alternatives that we looked at as well, that I remember. And they really, the one, there's a lot of rock on the uphill side of this site. This is basically an exposed ledge up here. So going anywhere to the north of that parking lot is going to be very challenging. You'd be blasting and taking out about a 20-foot cliff there. So you're left with really the end of the property where we're trying to squeeze the building in. And we looked at one alternative, which is labeled alternative 1, which basically it attaches the new structure to the existing structure. And as you can see there, that results in a direct fill of the wetlands, which obviously is more of an impact. And then the other option we looked at was rotating the building 90 degrees from where we had it, where we have proposed it now. And again, to make the grading work, you end up filling part of the wetlands there too. So we feel that the location we've proposed is really the only place it could fit without zoning variances to try to get it farther into the setback. But even then, you're challenged by the rock slope. So I think that is the basic scope of my presentation. I'll be happy to take any questions the commission might have. Thank you.
Okay. Go through the normal row. Commissioner Spence, questions? Commissioner Spence, you're muted.
Sorry. You don't want to hear the background noises going on around here. What is currently below to the eastern side of the proposed retaining wall on the east side of the proposed building? Is it greenery now? Is it rock face? What is there now?
Sorry, can you just describe that again? You said
I'm sorry. It was kind of hard to describe. The new retaining wall that you're planning on putting on the eastern side of the proposed building.
Yeah. There
is plantings below that, between that and the wetlands. What is there now?
There is I guess you call it a boulder retaining wall. It's sort of a riprap slope, but with larger rocks. And we'll be pushing that out, and then it's really just a scrubby brush that's in there. I don't know what the plant types are, but it's overgrowth is really what it is.
When you say push it out, what do you mean? When you push out the boulders?
Yeah, the boulders are going to be removed, and this new retaining wall will be just beyond that existing boulder wall.
So where will the boulders go?
There's going to be some fill needed. I'm not entirely sure where we're going to dispose of the boulders. They might have to be found someplace along the back of the parking lot to act as a barrier up there, or they, may get utilized someplace else. It's not a huge amount of boulders there. It's about 20 feet long by, 5 feet wide, maybe.
I'm familiar with the finger of wetlands that's there, and if there is a significant slope, as you said, and there are some significant boulders, which makes me wonder how you're going to remove them without pushing them into the wetland itself. And
I think they can get a machine up on top and pull them up on top. They're going to be tearing out that whole upper parking lot to put in the drainage system and to construct the building. So, they're going to have to reach down from above and pull the rocks up. There's a much larger boulder wall that goes all the way around that slope, and we're really just on the tail end of it. So it's relatively minor in relation to the entire length of that wall.
So would it be a good idea to put silt fence? Now, I don't know, I haven't walked it recently, but would it be a good idea to put silt fence at the base of where your proposed plantings are to protect anything from going further into the wetlands, or do you feel it's not necessary?
We certainly could.
I'm just thinking of dirt and boulders and stuff being moved around without.
No, it would
any
make more
protection.
sense. You're right, to have it on the low side of the planted buffer than to have it where we show it. We didn't account for the planted buffer when we drew the silt fence in there. So really, we'd want that to follow on the low side of the plantings to be safe.
Okay,
we can
thank
make that change. Yep.
That's great. Thank you. That's all the questions I have at the moment.
Thank you, Commissioner Spence. Commissioner Stewart?
Yeah, I'm looking at your drawing, your existing survey conditions. And I can't really tell where the parking lot ends, where this proposed building's going.
The parking lot ends, there's space number 48. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so it comes out to a little finger there just beyond 48. And it comes maybe 20 feet past there. And it's basically a spot for a pull-in for a truck to then back into the loading dock. So we are going to be putting the face of the building, I think it's right at space 48. So we're cutting that tail off.
Okay, so it's basically the level area shown on the plans, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to fill out a little bit on the east side, but that's where the retaining wall is. So we're basically leveling that out and then catch some of the grade with the building. And then
I thought that was a contour line. Okay.
Yeah, it is tough to see. I agree.
Now the other question is, you talked briefly about putting this building up on the north corner of your site, and you say that's all rock.
Yeah, that's a sheer rock face there. They must have blasted that out when they built this building, I assume.
And you don't think it makes more sense to blast it out than build these retaining walls and excavate and
I'm just gonna put my screen back here. Hang on one second. What was that? You cut out during part of that comment.
It's okay. You don't think it makes more sense to just blast that area out than go through all this effort to dig out the back of that lot and build a how tall is that retaining wall?
It's going to be probably 8 to 10 feet tall. That was in discussions with the owner and in his excavator, it was determined that it was going to be more costly and difficult to do that blasting. And I'm not even sure you can get enough room to fit that building without going over the building setback line up there. So it would be challenging to get it in there and to make a big enough hole to get the building into, because you can't just go right up to the limit of the building. You're going to have to blast out around it enough to get around it. So in our opinion, it is a better place to put it where we're showing it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner Stewart. Commissioner Mazzaracco? Ross?
No questions. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I couldn't
All
figure out how to get stuff moved.
No worries. Thank you. Commissioner Hall?
Yes, thank you. In reading, first of all, I am not familiar with the site. I have not had a chance to walk it. But in Stephen Danzer's report, he talks about a significant slope in the wetlands or to the wetlands. And I'm looking at your example 1 here. I can see on the west side about a 10-foot slope, but I can't really tell from the building down. Basically, I'm trying to understand what the wetlands looks like if you're at ground level, what kind of slope is that down into the wetlands? What does that look like
The existing slope?
today? Yes.
Yeah. You've got I have pictures. I wish I could I could share them to show you. But you kind of come to the end of that parking lot, and the slope, I mean, it's more than a 2-to-1 slope that goes down to the wetlands there. So it's something steeper than would be comfortable to walk on, if that makes any sense. And it kind of just drops straight down, and then you've got a level area to the wetlands. It's overgrown, and it's, you know, low brush really is what it is.
And is that where the water flows today down through that onto the adjoining property?
Well, let's see, the water now, I mean, off the pavement all flows out towards the north on the pavement. It's going to flow out, should flow all out back towards the building to the catch basins. You know, any of the water coming down the hill obviously would continue down the slope to the wetlands now, and you know, would be disrupted by the building that we're putting in.
Yeah, that's my concern, is by putting a building on both sides of the wetlands, you've sort of narrowed the natural, I mean, the whole perimeter becomes, how's the best way to put it? You've got buildings on both sides of it. So it will affect how it manages that flow. I'm looking at Stephen Danzer's report, and he talks about it attenuating downstream flooding. So I think I understand what's happening there. What's a little hard to understand at this point is, after the building is built, the retaining walls are constructed, how will that be affected?
As far as the flow of the water?
The flow of the water and the flow of the water and the hydration to the current wetland.
The hydration, you know, the impervious area that's associated with that building that we're creating is all being picked up and put into a storm recharger and then discharged back out to the wetlands. So we're not taking all that water out. There is going to be some surface flow that's going to get diverted around, and in the end, it's going to end up back in that same wetland. Everything goes down there. You know, it comes down that hill. It'll be around the backside of the building and still end up in that wetland. So really, there may be a slight decrease in water that gets there, but I don't think it would be significant.
Okay. Good. Thank you. That was my question.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Hall, thank you, Commissioner Hall. Commissioner Lindquist, any questions?
Lindstrom? Yeah.
I'm sorry, Lynch. I even can't remember what I wrote. Okay, I got a couple of questions for you. The spot 48 get replaced?
No, it does not. We have excess parking here, so we do not need another spot.
Does this application have anything to do with on the plan showing the proposed storage addition for 3,300 square feet?
Yeah, they should both be part of this application, yes.
Did you discuss that in the?
I mentioned it in the opening, but that was really all. It's considerably farther away than anything else we're proposing on there, so that's why I focused on them.
Okay, so that is actually, because on my plan, there's, you know, it's shaded in for the 6,000.
Yeah.
I know, like a future proposition, but I just want to make sure that we're, you know, looking at the full picture here. The only question I have about this one in regards to what's the access going to be for this, for construction purposes, because you have this disturbance fence, I guess. I'm not sure what your DSF is.
That's a double silt fence line.
Oh, double silt fence, okay. And roof drain. So what are you coming across the front of the building to access that construction?
For the storage, or for the building?
The 3,300 square foot one.
Yeah, they actually, there's, if you walk through there's a gravel access. I don't know if you want to call it a drive, but they had been, I believe it was a requirement of planning and zoning, or maybe the fire marshal on one of their previous applications, that they construct a a drivable access path that comes around this. So they do have the ability to drive over there. Yes.
Oh, and that remains
This wall.
after this is built?
Well, it's
Seems
not
like
a, it's
that's
not a finished road. It's just
No, I mean, but it was, my thing is that they required it for the first construction, original construction of the building, right?
that was my understanding. I wasn't involved in
Right.
that, but that's what I was told.
If it's for safety purposes, then it's gonna have to, that, whether it's in the same spot, if it's going through the addition, my question, are they gonna require another one that's now gonna push it into like closer into the wetlands? Has that been?
That has not been brought up. I mean, they would have pretty good access to this from just the front, I think.
I just know
But,
the fire marshal can make some whoever required it the first time around. I would, I think we would feel better if we knew whether that was going to be a new condition. And now that changes, the site work, but.
Well, they could also potentially eliminate the odd angle on the end of that addition. We could probably square that off and, at least provide some access around the end of that building.
I don't have an issue with it. I don't have an issue with anything about the addition. My question is, there's this path we're talking about that it's not, I don't see it on the plan. Is it on the plan?
No, I mean, it's not really, it's not a finished path. I kind of.
It's like a gravel, like a construction.
Yeah, it's like just like a subgrade they kind of put in there when they were, just so that a fire or a vehicle could drive on it without sinking in is really what the intent was, I think.
So if you said, if it's an actual fire truck, they're gonna want to have that be replaced somewhere. The only concern I would have is that, and I guess we could just say, if we were to approve this, say as a condition that if, another gravel path has to be put around and it goes, extends farther into the disturbance. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like if you're cutting off, if there's an access around this building and you're now cutting it off and now it's going to push this new construction into the wetlands further than what we're seeing right now. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I do. But at the same time, if we come around the end of the building, we're not actually going towards the wetlands. We would have to push out the big boulder wall. And in reality, that's not going to happen. I think what will happen is the addition would get short enough that we could get around the end of it if that was a requirement. So long run, you wouldn't really have additional impact there. You'd end up with a smaller building with a gravel, base going around the end of it at the top of that boulder wall.
I'm confused about the boulder wall because I don't know where the boulder wall is.
If you look right at the tip of that building where it comes to the odd angled tip there, I don't know what sheet you're looking at, but it's S1.
I'm on S1.
Yeah, it's right. There's a kind of a grade hatch pattern that goes along the slope.
Oh, I see.
Right above the septic system. And that is a boulder, those are big boulders and it's a substantial wall that they're not going to move to accommodate a gravel path. So I think they would probably reduce the building footprint to leave enough room for access around.
There is no way to really move it because otherwise it'd be on top of the septic. Okay, I get it.
Yeah. So
it does show a corner of the building though on that boulder wall. So some kind of adjustment. And there's going to have to be some kind of, at least a maintenance or construction path around that corner, right?
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think it's going to get smaller. They don't have a building plan for that yet. They're kind of conceptualizing what they're going to do there. So that will almost definitely change. It'll be within this footprint, but it'll, probably be smaller.
Okay, and then my other question, so the construction activities to make that addition is going to come up above that boulder wall that you were saying?
That's the idea, yeah.
Coming through the parking lot over by,
you come off space 49, I guess is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you come past the septic tank.
Come up through there?
Yeah.
Okay, because one of my thoughts, I always look at the whole plan and.
Yeah, it's a good call.
But I also see they have an anti-tracking pad in the road coming in, which like they're gonna tear up their asphalt driveway and not have one like closer to the buildings. They're going to stay in operation, right? They're going to have trucks coming in and out. it seems not like the smartest place for an anti-tracking pad.
Over here.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. That would make more sense to put something up right at the edge of the construction. So we
Right,
can-
yeah,
we can
right, if you
move
went
that.
at the, end, if you went at the end of 49, I mean, the purpose is to protect the, water course in the area because of runoff, so I guess it is
Yeah.
kind of a wetlands related matter. But, if you put it in the grass, it's a lot less cost to replace. Plus, if they got
Yeah,
track
it doesn't-
trailers, anti-tracking pads could cause, issues for small cars and whatnot. They're for construction vehicles.
No, and I think you're right. I think it was just kind of drawn in there without thought, because that's where we usually put them, but it should be relocated, so we can certainly do that, yeah.
I'd rather see it not put that on there and make anybody commit you to put it there when you realize that it's, there's a better space for it.
And really, the pavement's gonna, function as anti-tracking, the driveway, the existing parking lot, it's gonna
I
take
mean,
care of a
if
lot
it
of
was,
that, so.
I wouldn't, if it wasn't on the plan, I wouldn't have asked for it. I'll tell you that.
So maybe we just remove it then,
I wouldn't have a problem if you wanted to, in this presentation, that you want this, to us not consider the anti-tracking pad. I wouldn't personally have a problem with that. I don't know
Yeah.
about planning and zoning, but
I'd be fine with that, and if it comes down to it and we have to put one in a different spot, then, we'll figure it out, but I don't think it's necessary, yeah.
okay, that was, I think that's it for me.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Commissioner Hall.
I do have one quick question, maybe unnecessary, but the access to that proposed 3,300 square foot storage, is that all from inside the existing building?
That's the plan, yeah, is to have that all be accessed internally.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody have more questions?
I do, if I may. Your discussion of the anti-tracking pad left me a little confused. If you remove the anti-tracking pad from the driveway, is the construction entrance still going to be the driveway? Or is it going to be someplace else?
Now, the construction entrance would still be the driveway. I think what the chairman and I were kind of saying is that correct me if I'm wrong, but the pavement is really going to act as its own anti-tracking apron there. You've got a long run of pavement to get out, and you're really creating more of a problem by putting that anti-tracking pad there, because it's going to be something that's going to drag potentially rocks out into the street, or you're going to have something that might damage vehicles. And maybe we, put in some sort of a condition, maybe, or a plan of, I don't know, maintenance isn't the right word, but some sort of a protocol for if we see, sediment getting into the road, then we have to sweep it, or we have to, install a tracking pad, somewhere to act as construction entrance.
That would, excuse me, that was part of my question. The next question, because there's catch basins down there, are there not? So any dirt that's tracked onto the parking lot will be directly funneled toward the catch basins. Am I missing anything there?
Well, there's silt protection on the catch basins, so those will be protected. The catch basins in the street, the runoff is going to be minimal that gets to those, because most of it is being captured up above.
I'm sorry. Commissioner Spence, I'll shed a little light on that for you. So typically anti-tracking pads were used when you're opening up a property for the first time, and all you have is dirt. And dirt and water makes mud, sticks in the tires. The anti-tracking pad is to clean the tires as it's leaving the site. This is a lot of pavement. So all the tires are going to clean themselves in the first 50 feet from where the pavement starts. So there's not even going to be any dirt getting in the anti-tracking pad. And all it's going to do is make it difficult for the people that work there driving their cars in and out.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I am for the tracking pad. I'm just trying to make sure that the silt and the mud does not get in the catch basins and therefore get funneled into the nearest wetland. That's not at all. Don't misunderstand me, please. I'm not looking to make things more difficult.
The erosion control still stays. It's just the anti-tracking pad.
Okay.
They have that on the,
All righty. But so we're not talking about a separate entrance. We're still talking about using the driveway as the entrance.
That's correct. Yes. Yes, correct.
Okay. Now I do remember the other applications for this building coming in, and I do remember the fire marshal requiring a full access around the building. So, excuse me. So if that's going to be a consideration, if I don't know if you need to take that, you obviously need to take that into consideration, unless things have changed as far as the fire marshal is concerned. So, but if there's going to be any further changes to your plan beyond what's on this plan, that does push it toward the south, because I know that there's a wetland right at the base of that. To the south of the proposed storage addition, there is an opening, and then you have some trees proposed at the bottom of that, and then there's woods, and at the bottom of that woods is another wetland. So that does
Okay.
the URA is extended into that area. So if there's any changes beyond what's proposed on this plan, the commission would need to see it with the new changes on it.
Yeah, I mean, if we have to go and have additional impact, we would have to come back and get your blessing on it. I don't think we can address it now simply because it hasn't been requested by or even reviewed by the fire marshal. So I think if it becomes an issue, we either reduce our building footprint so that we don't increase our impact, or we come back and we talk to you and confirm what we're doing.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, that's it for me. Thank you.
all right, thanks, Commissioner Spence. So any other questions from any other commissioners? Nope. The only thing, Jason, that I would say that I wouldn't, I don't want to be nitpicky, but you don't show the new grading on that other addition like you do on the proposed building.
Well, it's going to be pretty much right at the existing grade there.
Well, I know, I can tell it's very close, but you don't, and I'm not going to say you're going to hold it up on that, but I think, it should probably be adjusted and added in for the next steps.
Okay.
Just so it's, it's pretty clear to everybody, but you could see like your 450 runs right through the middle of the building. The addition, it should be pushed out, right? Or.
Yeah, well, in particular where that tip comes to the wall. Yeah. There's going to be
something going on there.
I mean, you could probably do some sort of a wall around, have the foundation sort of act as a,
right. But honestly, that corner is about 5 feet out of our jurisdiction. So you might be okay. But
yeah.
That was part of the reason why it looked to me like that might have been like a future step, because you had all the, nice grading lines and adjustments to the contours for the proposed building, but this didn't. So, all right.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, so
and just as an FYI, Keith, it's not out of our jurisdiction because of the wetlands on the other property. Just because the wetlands is on this property, there's still 100 feet on the outside of that wetlands, which does extend into this area.
then his WRL is wrong.
Well, we didn't, we don't know that the wetlands are there. We haven't flagged that, so we'd have to potentially
we can only go by the information that we have, Commissioner Spence, which is on his plan.
Right, I understand that, but WF15, which is the wetlands flag at the bottom, I mean, the wetlands don't stop there. They continue, and we have to understand that, and just that's all.
Right, okay.
I think they're not going to, our disturbance is not going to be any closer than we are to the other wetlands on the site. If anything, will be farther, that building addition is still farther away than any of the closer impacts that we have. Just to clarify that.
Right.
Okay. Any other commissioners have any other questions? No. Okay. So Jason, if you want to wrap up the presentation with any, mods that you want to, offer up for for our consideration?
Yeah, so I think based on our discussion, we will eliminate the anti-tracking apron from the plan as long as the commission agrees with that. And we will be shifting the double row silt fence that is to the east of the proposed retaining wall to the east of the proposed planting buffer to better protect the wetlands during that work. And we will also look at the grading on the proposed storage addition as we proceed further in the process. And if anything changes that will increase our inland wetlands regulated area disturbance, we will come back to the commission for review.
Did the commission read the town engineer's report that was
Yeah,
included?
then we got this.
in the packet? Got reviewed.
Where was this?
Probably a bond.
So we have,
If you're closing or continuing.
well, this is new, so I'm kind of like, what do we still deliberate at the end, right? In this new format, right?
You made the new format, so it's up to you.
I'd say probably.
If you're,
Proposed.
What's that?
The engineer proposed a $16,830 bond.
Okay. But I was also looking for you're saying he had some comments?
he did have comments, yeah.
He did.
He did have a handful of comments. We have addressed all of them. He has not reviewed them again at his request because he wanted to have you guys decide on whether or not it was a public hearing before we resubmitted plans.
Actually, we covered a lot of the, there were only two. And
Where are they in here? Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong page. You want to review them for us, Commissioner Smith?
well, actually, we covered some of them. We covered the last two. The stormwater control, I'm imagining you can work that out with Scott. The primary outfall for the routing of pond 3 should be 0.33 in lieu of 0.5.
Yes, and that was corrected. I have responses to all these if you want to hear them, but it's.
Well, if you feel that if they're satisfied to the engineer's satisfaction, drainage pipe for the retaining wall should be indicated. The detail of the precast gallery should indicate the concrete wall thickness. And
It's just those 4 comments?
these are, that's under stormwater control. And they can also be handled under the P&Z process, I believe.
Right.
That's correct, yes.
And B is yours. B is the same as yours, Commissioner Spence, about the silt
Right.
fence.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The proposed-
And
should
the
be
other
in
one is
access.
also yours, which was the access point.
And he's got to address it before he gets to
Right.
P and Z. So,
Yep. That's
all right,
it.
we noted it. We're good. We have to read this or anything into the record?
Do we have to read anything? No, it's been,
Okay. All right, so we'll
Motion.
move this to deliberate. Do we do a motion to move it to deliberation?
you'll do a motion in deliberations, not now, you're,
Move this meeting into deliberation.
yeah.
Okay.
This application.
Close
into-
the hearing.
Application deliberation. All right,
We close the hearing.
so very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lost. So now we're on to, we have no regular meeting, or we had a regular meeting. We had a public hearings, none. OV discussion, 163 Barn Hill Road Restoration Planting Review.
When Joe didn't get a chance to call that gentleman, he was supposed to come back but then the meeting last time was canceled, so it's gonna have to be tabled. Sorry.
All right, number 9, bond release reduction report, IWC 2020-09, 200 Turnpike. Request for $1,000 bond to be released. Ron, you want to talk on that? Because I see you did the report, right?
Yeah, I took some pictures, as you can see. And it looks like they carried out, from what I understand, I don't have a lot of knowledge of the project beforehand. But the finished project looks good. Everything's stable. So looks like, as they proposed, they completed the process.
So your recommendations for the release?
Yes.
Wouldn't expect the water company to cheat on wetlands. Be kind of really awkward.
Right. They did a very nice job, actually. So,
Okay, good. Want to make a motion to release the bond? Someone?
You're
Make a
muted.
motion. No.
Who's doing?
I will make a motion to release the bond for 200 Monroe Turnpike.
All right, you have a motion to release the bond from Commissioner Hall. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Spence and Commissioner Massaraco, please state your name and your,
Spence, aye.
great.
Keith.
Massaraco, Ross?
Oh, Ross, sorry.
Ross?
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Aye.
All right, thanks. Thank you.
Is all-
Motion passed unanimously. All right, so now on to 10, time extensions, IO 6-31, 508, 82 Cottage Street, 42 Sandbar Road, 14 lot subdivision, additional 5-year extension as allowed under Public Act 21-163, new expiration would be 10/21/2027, held over from 12/8/21 meeting. And we have here, go ahead, state your name for the record, please.
Certainly. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission and professional staff. My name is Chris Smith. I am a land use attorney with the firm of Alter and Pearson. I appear before you this evening on behalf of Cottage Street LLC, who's the owner of the property. And with me this evening is Chris Steiner, the Steiner family, that comprises Cottage Street LLC. This involves, as the chair just indicated, it's a 14-lot subdivision on a little over 100 acres of land. It was initially approved by this commission in October of 2008, which, as you know, under the statutes, there was a 5-year time period that went to October 21, 2013. And I'm just going to be referring to a letter from actually Donna to myself back in 2017 that outlined these approvals. So the initial approval, again, 08, 5 years to 2013. As you're well aware, for those of us who were practicing around this commission back in 2011, after the 2008 crash, the General Assembly did pass legislation that extended the permits for various approvals out. It was a home builders relief legislation that was pushed by the Connecticut Home Builders and the Developers Council, where the all permits that hadn't expired at that point essentially were extended out another 4 years. So we went to 2017. And then we came back to this commission in 2017 before that expired to request the additional and then final 5-year time period under the statutes that extended us out to 2022, next year, October 21, 2022, this year. And the commission did grant that 5-year extension request to us. And I have a letter to that effect. It's in the file. It's dated September 27, 2017. And as the chair was indicating, I know your town attorney, Attorney Marino, had provided you with an update concerning the recent legislation, essentially driven because of COVID and the pandemic and a lot of construction not being able to occur, Public Act 21-163, that provides for the additional 5 years, again, for a total of 19 now, because you had the 5 plus the 4 with the special legislation in 2011. And now we have this new special legislation for an additional 5, which is for a total of 19 years. We had a subdivision, a special exception running simultaneously with planning and zoning that expired on the same date as this wetlands approval. And planning and zoning did approve the additional 5 years under the new special act, and we got a letter to that effect. They did that on December 9th, which was the day after your, I guess, last regularly scheduled meeting. And so we're returning to you under the Public Act to request the additional 5 years. As you're well aware under the statute, unless there's been a substantial material change or some sort of enforcement action concerning the property, that any such request for an extension under the statute, as the statute reads, shall be approved unless that has occurred. And I respectfully submit that there hasn't been any substantial change with this property. And there certainly hasn't been any enforcement action that's been commenced against my client concerning any wetlands violations with the property. So we would respectfully request this additional 5 years that's provided by the Public Act that was passed last year that was outlined by the chair earlier this evening. And I can respond to any questions that you have, or Mr. Steiner can.
Yeah, my first question is, so what I was given by our attorney was a 4-page thing, memorandum. And of course I was confused because, although you really can't see this, the titles to the chart were on the previous page, right there at the bottom. So I was looking at the top going, what are all these columns? I would like to know which one of this project falls under.
It actually, well, I can give you the statute, the Public Act section. And to be honest with you, Mr. Chairman, and for better or worse, we have quite a few attorneys in the legislature. So when we have any legislation drafted, it may take a few times through to figure things out. But this particular section of the Public Act, it's section 7, and it says section 9 of Public Act 20. And so I don't know if that's referenced there, Mr. Chairman, but I can quote it. It's A1. It says, notwithstanding the provisions of any special act, any site plan, subdivision, or permit approval by zoning commission, planning commission, combined planning and zoning commission, zoning board of appeals, or inland wetlands pursuant to provisions of any special act that occurred prior to July 1, 2011. And this was approved in October 21, 2008. So it predates it. That's the trigger that has not expired prior to the effective date of this section.
I'm sorry. What was the trigger again?
So the approval had to occur before July 1 of 2011.
And it was approved before.
And that was October 2008.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And it also,
That's the trigger.
I'm sorry, Don.
No, that's what I was agreeing with you.
Okay. So
that's the trigger.
That condition, first condition was met.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one is that it cannot have it expired before the effective date of the act, which was July 1 of 20, which was, I believe it was July 1 of this past year. And we're still in effect. You just approved, you had approved in 2017 a 5-year extension where this permit is effective through October 21 of this year.
But then the one thing I want more clarification on is this, and maybe it doesn't really apply, but I think it would help because there's 7 different types of developments, I guess. And it says residential site plans for projects with 400 or more units.
Not us.
Business site plans for projects with at least 400,000 square feet. I know it's not you. Other site plans, subdivision plans for 400 or more dwellings, other subdivisions, wetlands associated with other approvals, site plans and subdivisions, and other wetlands.
So we would fall under those wetland categories. There's in the general statutes, Mr. Chairman, for zoning, there's special provisions dealing with what you said, more than 400 units and whatever the square footage was, 400,000. There's little carve outs for those types of very large developments that were passed.
Right.
This is a 14 lot subdivision on a little over 100 acres. So we don't.
So this might be other subdivisions?
We're just under the general subdivision site plan.
Well, just because this chart has different extensions, right? So I'm sure that for our understanding or my understanding of how what was handed to me applies to your situation, it changes based on what the description is. It's all not a blanket. Do you know have you seen?
I haven't seen that yet. It's going to boggle my mind.
Maybe I'm
the person
not saying it right.
out.
I'm trying to explain it, but
We're just under the general wetlands as we were with the subdivision as well as special exception, which was other zoning permit. And again, that's why, P&Z approved it on December 9th. And again, the P&Z, the zoning runs from when the wetlands was approved, because the wetlands was approved through a resolution of an appeal. So everything was triggered on that October 21 date in 2008, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission.
As far as I understood it from yesterday, this is nothing that we have to approve or vote on. It's a given. It's like the date was magically erased and changed on your approval, correct?
We're just asking for, I'm sorry, Mr. I thought you were done. I'm sorry.
According to the new law that was passed for whenever this took effect, it's almost like it's just automatically extended. The date changes, right? It's no action. The way I understood it, there's no action for us to take as a commission in order to apply this law to your approval. Right?
Well, I do think that a motion would be in order, Mr. Chairman, just to confirm that you recognize the 5 years. I know with the
this is it.
With zoning, I'm looking at the letter and it says, please, from Rick Schultz.
That goes to 19.
I was on our wetlands commission in my old town, and Rick was our wetlands director and town planner there in North Branford many years ago. But it does say, please be advised that the Planning and Zoning Commission at its meeting held on December 9, 2021, granted a 5-year extension for the subject subdivision approval, including zone change, special exception permit, and subdivision. The new date of expiration, first set approvals is October 21, 2027. And that's what we're asking this commission, is just to grant that 5 years as provided by the Public Act. So it would correspond to the same date, October 21, 2027.
I think I see the difference in the language. It says up to 19 years from approval, meaning that's what we can grant you.
Right.
Same thing with zoning.
I was on the impression this was like an automatic thing. It came down from the state, but okay, it's easy enough because I'm sure no one's going to contend it anyways.
Right.
But this is a little more.
So just a vote.
Make a motion.
Right.
Okay. Does anyone like to make a motion to accept this extension?
I'll make a motion to authorize the 5-year extension.
I have a motion from Commissioner Stewart to authorize a 5-year extension. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hall. All in favor? Aye. Commissioner Spence, state your name and your position.
Spence, aye.
Mastrocco?
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
This is Ross. Aye.
Okay, thank you. Motion
Okay,
passes.
thank you. Thank you very much. And stay safe, everyone. Good luck with the Zoom.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks for the help with the clarification.
Thank you and be well.
Okay. All right, deliberation on completing hearings, none. Permitted uses as of right, IPU 20. What, did I miss something?
Deliberations on completed hearings. Are you,
Why do I thought we are, sorry.
You just got, yeah.
Had a really weird week.
okay. I'm trying my best to keep on task.
Thank you. All right, I forgot that we moved it over here. Right, okay. Deliberation on completed hearings. So this is,
IWC 2022.
2022-0167 Enterprise Drive for new warehouse, addition to existing building, stormwater detention, new driveways. Any discussion from any of the commissioners on this?
Well, I'll open it with a motion to approve the plan with conditions.
Second.
Second, we have a motion by Commissioner Spence to approve of conditions. I have a second by Commissioner Hall. Commissioner Spence, what are the conditions?
The conditions are as offered during the hearing, that there would be, the double fence would move to its east, beyond the proposed plantings on the east side of the steel building. And that there will be new plans presented with the removal of the stacking pad, and also with contour lines added the new proposed contour lines added to the southern end of the the work.
Addition.
The work,
Addition.
I can't think of the word.
Addition.
Addition, okay.
Right.
Yes. And if the fire marshal is not happy with the proposed plans, that they have to come before us if there's going to be any other changes in our URA. And we should really check out the URA considering that there is the wetland on the southern side. And that's it.
I would concur on that, Fire Marshal. I think we should make that language very clear. I'm looking at a picture of the building and that gravel pad extends all the way around the building. And if that addition goes in place, it definitely could have an impact. So we really need a fire marshal ruling on that.
I think the fire marshal will alter the plan. The plans have to be changed to meet, then they have to come back. That's just gonna automatically trigger.
Okay.
Okay, so, right?
Yeah.
Now, my question is, if he made those changes part of his presentation, do we make those conditions? Like, doesn't that actually alter, if he puts it on the record, doesn't that automatically alter the application to meet what he presented to us?
I think we do need to spell it out in the approval so that, because.
We call it conditions? Because he offered.
Well, we'll state it as offered by the applicant during.
That's a condition?
It doesn't change.
We call those conditions of approval?
We do call them conditions of approval, but we also state that it was as offered by the applicant.
Right, I know we said that, but I wasn't sure if it was still. Okay, I get it.
The reason is, Keith, is that the reason we do that is because whatever is spoken in a meeting really has very little bearing in the long run. It's what's written. It's what's on the plan.
It's true.
If it isn't on, that's why we used to ask for plans of any changes so that we could approve that plan. Now, if we're not going to go that road anymore, we need to specify in writing exactly what we expect.
Right, I don't have a problem with being listed, but since they offered it as part of the application.
Right, and it will be stated as such.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if it's still called a condition of approval, that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I just was curious because it's not like we heard his information and we said, we're gonna approve it only if he does this or this or this.
No.
Right, it's slightly different.
Put that wording in before.
Okay, all right.
Into approvals.
I'm good with that.
Lois, I might need you to go over those again because I didn't quite get everything down.
Sure.
So
some of them were like just right out of Scott's comments. I didn't realize it until after I said
the east side.
the silt fence was to be moved to the east side of the
eastern silt fence was to be moved outside to the outside of the proposed plantings on the east side of the proposed building. Does that make sense?
Yeah, hold on one sec. Proposed.
You can almost copy the language that Scott used because it's the same.
Yeah, that's probably better than what I said.
To the east side of the new building.
Right.
All right.
Look at Scott's comment number B under MS4 general stormwater discharge. Because that's well worded there. He just said should be placed further away from the wall, but also below the plantings.
Okay. And then what was the other condition?
Remove the tracking pad.
Oh, to remove the tracking pad, right?
Correct. And the other one was that it's contingent on the fire marshal approval?
No.
I don't know if we want to put contingent or if we just want if the fire.
The contour lines.
The contour lines.
Contour lines around the addition.
On the addition, right.
And the fire marshal issued, that was it.
That's it. That's on the addition, yeah.
Maybe we should just call it referral to the fire marshal.
Yes, we can do a referral to the fire marshal and to the planning commission if you want.
Yes, actually,
We
We can put that at the end,
I'm pretty sure it's gonna come up. We just happen to notice it here.
right? And the referral is that,
But I'd hate to, I don't know, I feel like it's
it's just a comment at the end.
comment.
Yeah, that says, so how do you want to word the referral regarding the fire marshal?
Well, it's Commissioner Spence's motion, so I let her complete it, but what's approval with referral to fire marshal for building access. I don't know, that's my suggestion.
I was just gonna say that if the fire marshal wants to make any changes to the proposed plan that is within our upland review area, that you should probably come back. Because it depends on what the fire marshal requires as to how extensive the changes might be. So you may
Okay.
want,
They're not allowed to alter a plan in the wetlands review area without coming back to us first. It's gonna be like,
theoretically, that's true.
I'm not gonna let that happen, right?
No, I don't know. Theoretically,
So if the fire marshal wants to make any changes that would affect the wetlands?
I'm not in favor of all this language about the fire marshal thing. I think the referral is enough. Saying we recognize that there could be additional, it's just a referral. Like,
Okay. All right. And then,
Just have the fire marshal review it.
we're approving the plan as
Okay.
presented.
okay. I think I have some language. Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. Any other discussion?
Is everything.
do we also need to add the fact that the path that goes around the building now is not on the plan and that should show on the plan?
I think it is actually that riprap thing that's faded. Because if you look at that aerial picture that's in their packet, it looks like that's actually it.
Wait a minute. What picture that's in their packet? I'm sorry, I'm confused. I'm looking at the plan. Everything's got to be on the plan.
Right. What I'm trying to tell you is
Not
that
the plan. It doesn't exist.
Is on one of the pages that faded.
Just to be clear, this is Jason Edwards. There is no defined path there. I shouldn't have used the word path. It's really just a sub base in there that provides a surface for a vehicle to travel on top of. It's below grass, so it's all grass on topsoil, and then you've got a hard base underneath. So it's not a defined path. I think take that back. There could be a portion of it that is a defined path.
Jay, hold on for a second. Is that proper for him to make a comment now at this point of it?
Yeah, actually, we're not supposed to do that. That's
Right.
Yeah, during deliberation.
Yeah, we're deliberating on this.
I'm sorry.
You should have
I was not.
you should have not chimed in.
My apologies.
All right, no worries.
But you know what? Since there are going to have to be made some changes to the plan. When the plan changes are made to the final, whatever the final plan is, all of the contours, which are currently not correct anyway, around if you look on S1, some of those contours don't really exist. I don't think the way they are pictured. I think that they're a little bit different, so that they should be put to rights, and it should be the way that they are actually in existence, not the way they're on the plan.
Let me just.
Any of that makes sense, because it didn't sound like.
Let me just say this. In the materials that were presented to us with this application, there is an aerial photo that shows riprap, gravel, whatever it is, and it is depicted on the plan. Okay?
It is on the plan.
That's
it's like
correct. The photo I was looking at is actually on Google. And the plan is that path, whatever we call it, around the building is much more clearly defined. And you look at the current picture in Google Maps.
Now, this might not be what he was talking about but it could be. But what I'm trying to say is that whatever you could see visually on the property in this photograph is represented in the plan that they presented. That's all.
Okay.
So I think we could just,
With just the comment about the new contour lines around the addition.
that's it, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we have a motion to accept the application with the stated conditions and offered conditions. We have a second for the motion. Discussion is now over. Do we vote? We vote, right? All in favor?
Spence,
Aye.
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 Aye. Massaraco?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Aye.
All right, okay, so that's a motion passes unanimously.
Okay.
Okay. Now, back to IWC agent activity reports, that's permitted uses as of right. IPU-2018-01, Department of Public Works, road repair, replacement, and general maintenance, IW regulations, sections 4.2C, expires 3/28/2023. Enforcement deliberation, status updates, 163 Barn Hill Road, planting plan. That was already in here earlier, right?
It was,
Okay, so same thing. With that, general discussion, minutes of September 22nd, 2021, and October 13th, and October 27th, 2021, and December 8th, 2021. Any reviews and motions to accept?
Are we accepting each one individually?
yes,
I think so. I just
Yes.
called them all out because that was on the item of the agenda. So starting with
September 20.
September 22nd, 2021.
Do we need a motion for that?
Sure, if you're,
I make a motion, we accept for September, whatever you just said. Sorry.
22nd.
Yes.
September 22nd, 20, oh, they're all stapled together.
Yeah, that's all. As written.
All right, motion to accept September 22nd meetings. Do we have a second? Second? Anyone want to second that motion? No? Then, I don't know if we got mutes or what.
Second.
Okay, thank you. We got a second from Commissioner Stewart. All in favor?
Problem.
Aye.
Aye.
This is, aye.
Aye. All right, is that?
I'm abstaining.
Abstaining from Commissioner Spence. It sounded like we had an aye from Commissioner Massaraco. Commissioner Lindstrom, I don't know, would he be voting on those?
No, he can't vote.
Okay, so you're, I guess we call that abstained or just
Right, he's abstaining from.
abstained? So you're abstaining from these,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so that was 4 in favor and 2 abstentions. Going on to the minutes for October 13th, 2021.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes for October 13th, 2021.
Motion to accept the minutes from October 13th, 2021. We have a second. Another second.
I have reviewed these, by the way.
Second.
Second. We have a second by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Commissioner
Spence is
Spence?
abstaining. Abstaining. I'm
Spence.
abstaining from all of them. I did not read them.
Okay, Commissioner Masrocco?
Aye. This is Ross.
Aye. Okay, and then Commissioner Lindstrom.
Abstain.
Okay, so we have 4 in favor and 2 abstentions. And it's accepted. We got the minutes of October 27th, 2021.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes of October 27th, 2021.
Motion to accept the minutes of October 27th, 2021. Do you have a second?
Aye.
Seconded by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner
Spence is
Spence?
abstaining from all.
All right, we'll do each one individually though. Commissioner Masrocco?
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Lindstrom?
Abstain.
Abstain. Okay, that's 4 favor, 2 abstentions. Passes. I'd say unanimous. Did I say unanimous last time? I don't know.
December 8th.
What?
I'm sorry.
I said, I think I might have said unanimously last time, but I maybe shouldn't have said that.
All right, I have, correct.
Okay, then we have, usually it is, so, December 8th, 2021, minutes, we have a motion to accept.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes from December 8th, 2021.
Second.
Second, we have a motion from Commissioner Hall and a second by Commissioner Stewart, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Ross.
Master Rocco?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Abstain. All right,
Abstain.
4 in favor and 2 abstentions. Minutes pass. All right, on to Regulation Amendment Committee. Are we doing anything there?
Representing the Regulation Amendment Committee, no activity there.
Thank you. Public Outreach Committee,
Same.
same. Correspondence, Aquatic Pesticide Application of Lake Zor from Connecticut DEP. Is that in the packet?
I usually just send that to Lois, secretary.
Okay,
We get them every year. It's from the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. And it's their application to treat Lake Zor. It goes through several towns and the state.
okay. Okay, so that's it for what's on the agenda. Before I close, I just turn it back over to Commissioner Spence, if you were trying to say something in the beginning of the meeting, and I wanted to give you your opportunity if you got to say anything.
I am completely up in the air. I was informed by the Republican Town Committee that I'm being fired as of last Tuesday. I'm surprised that nobody has been informed about this, or I really don't know what I didn't think I was supposed to be here. I chimed in as public citizen, not thinking I was a part of the commission anymore, but apparently I am. So I don't really know what's going on. But so I don't know what to tell you.
It's my understanding that you serve until, I guess, you're replaced, and the town clerk also did not have any notice of you not being on the commission either. So I don't know if there's any paperwork that goes with that, but I haven't gotten any notification.
I haven't. I was told also at the conclusion of the meeting that I would be, they'd get back to me, but it's been a week and nobody has. So I really don't know what to think. I guess I just continue on until I find differently. I mean, this is kind
How
of.
does the Republican Town Committee fire you? They don't have any power to do that.
They're the ones that put you up for appointment.
Yeah, but once you're appointed, you're appointed.
That was my.
You get reappointed, I believe.
Yeah, until you get reappointed.
Reappointed.
Well,
Or not appointed.
they told me that my reappointment was up a while ago.
Term is up.
I think all of our reappointments, I believe, were up years ago. checked through some town council minutes. I haven't seen reappointments on our commission for a long time. So I have no idea who's actually got what term. But they just said they were not renewing my appointment. And after an hour, I'm being kind. That was kind of the way it was left.
Okay.
So I don't know what I should be doing.
Well, as I said, as of right now, I haven't gotten anything from the town clerk's office. I know Commissioner Masterocco, or not Masterocco, Bob Sirocco, he's never shown up to a meeting. So I'm assuming that Mr. Lindstrom, Commissioner Lindstrom is replacing him.
Yes.
So as of right now, I don't have any, like I said, documentation saying that you are not a commissioner at this point.
Okay. Well, I'm be delighted to continue on. It's a longstanding tradition at this point. So until we hear differently, I guess I'm still on.
Okay.
All right.
Donna, I would love to know if I'm still in my appointment time.
You know what, I will, I'll have to check with the town clerk. They're the ones that hold that documentation and those records. So we'll get an update on that for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So with that, we'll a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Okay.
Is that it? A motion by Commissioner Spence, second by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Motion passes unanimously. The meeting is adjourned at 8:48 PM.